Yeah, we'll start without any further delay. So my name is Laiman Brahma. I am a part of capacity building team in Quest Alliance as an online facilitator. So I welcome every one of you to this masterclass on the tips and tricks of virtual engagement. So this masterclass is organized by Trainer Tribe, online learning community for our educators and initiative of Quest Alliance. So moving along, Carol, you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so hashtag Trainer Tribe. In case you want to write about this masterclass, you want to share your experiences in your social media handle, please do not forget to use hashtag Trainer Tribe. Moving along. As you are aware by now that the host has muted you so that we can have a very engaging conversation and do not get distracted by any background noise. So yeah, we have the chat box open. Please feel free to use it at any time. Put your opinions, your thoughts whenever you feel like, and we will address your questions at the end of the presentation. So yeah, moving along. Quest Alliance, I'm sure many of you already know, and I see that many of you are joining our master classes every week. So thank you very much for that. But those who are joining for the first time, Quest Alliance is a non-profit organization that works toward transforming school to work transition through self-learning. And we equip young people with 21st century skills by transforming learning ecosystem through educational technology, capacity building, and collaboration. So far, we have reached 4,000 educators across 50 plus organizations, having around 330 training centers across the country, working with 45 partners across 22 states and 7 state governments. So yeah, we can go next. We thank our donors and partners for continuous support and for actually spreading the word and getting you folks here. We extend our gratitude for their continuous support. So yeah, going forward with today's session, Carol, I think you can go next. Yeah, so going forward, we have a very amazing person and speaker. We have Carol D'Souza with us, who has extensively worked in the framework of capacity building, trainings, virtual learnings, and engagement of educators across the country. And we are extremely excited to have you with us, Carol. And thank you for choosing to spend your Friday evening with us. So over to you. Please take us through the tips and tricks of virtual engagement. So yeah, over to you, Carol.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you everyone for being for participating in my training right now. So I am Carol. I've been working with Quest Alliance from quite a long time. It's been a great journey from being a trainer to leading a virtual engagement, specifically with Vocational Training Institute right now with my Quest team. And let's move on to the topic directly. So before, like, what do I do is in my session, there are quite a bit, Lyman has already shared some of the norms, but in my session, I believe in setting certain norms which would help me build some more connection with all of y'all here. So firstly, respecting the learning for yourself and others. Something that I'm going to share today is going to be very new for some could be you've already gone through this experience, but there are certain people who for some it's new. So let's respect this learning and let's give the space for everyone to learn. The second part is as part of this virtual session, I do believe in because we are in different parts of the country, and a lot of connectivity issues would arise. So I request you all to switch off the videos, and there are certain points in time I might ask you to switch on your video So request you to switch on the video as per the instructions. Then keep your answers short and on topic. Take notes, just for, I know everyone would take notes, but just there could be some tips that you could always want to remember. So just take notes. So for that, keep a pen and paper ready with you all. Maybe some of the activities I would require for you all to have a pen and paper, and ask relevant questions. So do not hesitate to ask any kind of questions, which means that not only me as a facilitator who's going to answer to this question here, we as a community of facilitators who are here, we're going to try and answer some of the questions that you are holding on with. Finally, no harassment of facilitators as well as the participants we are around here. Yeah, so let's move on. I believe in building connection. So I'm a person who is a feeling level person, and I do believe in building connection before any content. Like even with students, whenever I've done sessions, or even with other educators or facilitators, whenever I've done any session, I do believe in building a connection before I could start off with the actual content. So here's an activity, a small activity for y'all. Choose a color that resembles your feeling right now, and share why have you selected that color. So you can put your responses in the chat box before we could quickly move on to the other part. So let's see where are we in terms of today's day, because it's Friday evening. It's going to be a weekend. So just want to check where are you in terms of your feelings. So quickly respond in the chat box. Yeah, blue, yellow, and reflection sunshade. Happy blue with clouds over my head. Yes, Brinda. Blue, cool. Purple and gratitude, because gratitude, you feel gratitude. Gray, because that's how life has always been, and yet beautiful and elegant. Yes, Karthik Pandit. Feeling calm, and color is pink. White, yellow, and feeling fresh. Yeah, so quite a bit. So as a whole, everyone is feeling fresh, calm, peaceful, and excited to learn something new today. So with that, we will just move ahead with the session. And another cool way to build connection in any virtual space is an icebreaker. And I will talk about this icebreaker more in the next part of my presentation. But here, what I'm going to do is, this is one of the way to build to conduct an icebreaker is just make this slide ready with 4 minimum questions, like I was born in, which part of city or which part of state were you born. Second is your favorite food, your hobbies, what would you like to do in your spare time when you have free time, what would you like to do. One thing people need to know about me, like one thing that people really need to know about you. So these are the 4 questions. So one way to do this is, if there is a small group, is one way to do is that they can respond this in the chat box quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4 answer responses in the chat box, you can respond to it. Or else, if the group is really large in number, maybe you can divide them into 2 breakout rooms, and they can actually discuss this kind of to know about themselves and the participants, and they can come into the larger group and start sharing some of these responses. So here I would like you all to put in the chat box the place you were born in, your favorite food, your hobbies, and one thing people need to know about you. If you can quickly spend a minute and so and just type it and put it in the chat box, that'll be great. And in my session, a lot of times I'm going to use chat box word because I love this. And this is something that we need to we need to get used to it. Because a lot of times in physical classrooms, we are not able to hear and listen to each other because there are many people in the classroom. But here in virtual space, we can continue our conversations in the chat box, and we can read these comments at certain point in time if you're not able to go through all the responses. Haura, she likes dosa, music, and love to write. Yes, Anto is from Tamil Nadu. Lacha Paratha, being still, undefined beyond the boundaries. Yes. Someone likes Pani Puri. Maybe today evening we can make some Pani Puri and have together. Um, Delhi, yes. Someone, Josna from Delhi has written that she loves traveling and listening to music. Karthik Pandit from Mangalore. Wow, I too am from Mangalore. So, home food, and I don't like talking about politics. So true. Um, yes, Vaibhav is also written that he's from India, and he likes to connect to people, connecting physical to metaphysical realm. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of responses are coming in, and I'm so glad to see everyone responding to in the chat box. Yes, binge watch, very nice. Dance is my passion. Someone, yes, Dureya from Maharashtra has written that he would like to travel with traveling and making new friends. Awesome. Okay, let's move on. And this is how we build connection, even though we are in different parts of the country, and we are in different states. And this is one way to know each other. And we need to continue this in the next upcoming sessions also. Like, for example, if you are my students and my learners, then this is the start. And here is something that we need to build a good relationship connection before we get into content. So today's topic is all about virtual engagement and how can we engage with our learners in a virtual world. So before that, let's go on. What is online facilitation? We just spoke about connection. Yes, online facilitation is all about creating connections, reflections, because in physical setup, we know people, we can see around. But in this virtual world, we are like a virtual bubble, right? Just if you can see that black camera, and that's the whole world for us, that's the classroom of us. So it's very important to create connections, and how to build this connection is enabling learning in a virtual space, which means try to create a learning environment to enable learning between the peer learners by interactive online learning, and also between an online facilitator and learners. But how will we do this? Using different digital mediums. So here we are using Zoom as a platform, but using different mediums, digital mediums, we need to connect to people and build relationships, and then connect to the content also. Who is an online facilitator? Online facilitator is not something, not someone who is very different from a facilitator who facilitates in the physical classroom. But more importantly, online facilitator is one who has a strong content knowledge, because whenever you're doing a session online, it's very important to have a strong content knowledge, because you're just going to spend 1 hour or 2 hours online, and you cannot just need to prepare very well. So, a second aspect is has a genuine desire to learn, explore, and experiment. As a community of facilitators here, we are all going to learn together. We are going to explore together, and we are going to experiment a lot of creative ideas that comes out of this discussion. The third aspect is able to create a strong interactive learning environment, which is very, very important, I believe in. And my sessions, whichever subject I do, whichever content I do believe in having interaction. So without interaction, I don't engage in session, no matter whether it's in physical classroom or even in the online facilitation. Able to orient participants according to the medium used. Very, very important is understanding where our learners are coming from, and helping them know how to operate this particular digital platform. It could be Zoom, it could be Google Meet, it could be WebEx, or any other platform that we are going to train our students or learners. Finally, encourage participants to reflect on what they have learned and what impact this information has on their beliefs and behavior. That's very, very a critical part is that, and this is one of the important and critical role of a facilitator also. Building a simple questions after each session in order to understand what they have learned and where are they in terms of their learning. It's very, very critical, and that will also help the online facilitator to get the feedback of his or her session, instant feedback. What do online facilitators usually do? It's nothing great. Promote and facilitate reflection. Apart from that, addressing queries. So there could be a lot of technical issues that's coming up during the virtual sessions. So addressing those queries and trying to resolve these issues together. Available for urgent queries. Whenever there are some urgent queries by the participants, it could be if you're teaching if your participants are audience is learners, or if your audience are educators, it's one and the same. You need to be available for them to uh, solve the immediate queries. Activating inactive students. This is really a really challenging role of an online facilitator, because in classroom we can actually see the students and we know who are inactive, but in virtual space this is really a challenge. And this is a one skill that an online facilitator needs to build and know how to activate these inactive students. And finally, giving feedback. Very often, like, it's not only giving feedback as an online facilitator, also receiving feedback from the participants. It could be through question and answers, it could be through chat box, or it could be through certain polls that you can send. Like for example, in Zoom we have a feature where we can actually immediately we can ask responses from the participants, and we can get the report quickly, and we know where the facilitator's role is. So yeah, let's move on. Some of the principles. So before we could get into the action mode, let's get into some of the principles. The principles that we can adopt in terms of virtual learning. So there is this synchronous learning. Most of you all must have heard this term, but there could be some people who've not heard about this concept called synchronous learning. So synchronous learning is all about online learning. It's the instant. It's a real time. Like for example, this what is happening right now is synchronous learning. It's a live session that happens through Zoom, Google Meet, and where students are allowed to ask any questions or any doubts they have, and there is an instant response given by the facilitator as well as the learner. Asynchronous learning is something that is carried out offline. Like for example, after today's session, that's after today's this particular webinar, maybe I would request you to do some homework or something that you would something that to apply for you all in your own classrooms. So that is asynchronous learning. That is maybe either through emails, either through web. We have our Quest app content also. So Quest app is a good example of asynchronous learning. So some of the strategies, like synchronous online facilitation strategies, how can we do this? How can we actually start applying these synchronous strategies? One is create and share a calendar of online sessions for participants with dates, duration, topics, and learning objectives. So before you could start, you need to plan what are the different kinds of sessions that you are going to take online, and prepare a calendar that is very simple enough for any learner to understand. Create and share it with the specific learning objectives. Second aspect could be decide on the most suitable platform for the session. You know your learners very well. These learners may come from rural background, urban background, semi-rural. So you need to understand where are these learners from, and then decide the suitable platform. Because I have done a lot of sessions with some of the trainers whom I closely work with, because some students are very well versed with Zoom platform, some students are well versed with Google Meet. So you know your learners, choosing the platform is your decision along with the learners. Third one is check with the participants on the platform chosen. So once you've chosen the platform, check and give them the basic orientation. Like for example, Lyman started here, like how do you need to mute, you need to switch off your video. There is a chat box, so click on that to share any of your responses. Prepare a handout on the session to be given to the participants prior to the session. So always, it's a good it's a one of the good tip that I would request you all to give to would request you all to practice and apply this. Prepare a handout. It could be simple handout with the topic name, learning objectives, what are you going to cover, so that the students students refer to it, do some research, and come back to the classroom. Because again, it's a virtual space, we'll be there only for like 2 hours max or 3 hours max. So need to make use of this particular time to the maximum. So if they have done a prior research, that will be great help for in order to do a better virtual session. Fifth one is design a presentation with inbuilt questions, so that this session could be very interactive. And these inbuilt questions are not like going to be like 5 to 10 questions. One simple questions after 5 slides of your presentation makes a lot of difference. And as I told you earlier, this will also help you to understand where your learners are at that point in time. And then you can restart or you can continue from there. So that's one feedback to get there quickly. Next is asynchronous strategies for online facilitation, which means finalize on themes. Like this is something that will happen offline. It could be like, I'll give an example for as a trainer tribe. So imagine trainer tribe is one example is trainer tribe for this asynchronous strategies. So we have a team who works at the back end for this trainer tribe group to actually engage. So finalize on themes for 4 weeks initially. So set the theme for 4 weeks so that everything is planned well. And after setting this theme, curate and collate relevant content which is required for this particular themes. Not just for tomorrow, okay, tomorrow this is a theme, we need to collect the content. So just plan it a month in advance and put all the content in one place. And after collecting, curating and collating the content together, then prepare one powerful or sharp question for each content. Like imagine a lot of content has been gone into the trainer tribe platform. So when you share a content, it's very important to have a reflective question or anything that participants could read and apply and then come back and share. So prepare one sharp question in such a way and try to tag people. Like for example, in trainer tribe, you can tag 4 people, and these 4 participants can further tag another 4, and this chain continues. Fourth aspect of this is set the count of the content that goes up to a maximum of 3 at different times in a day. And it can be mix of reading, visual, auditory. So like for example, in trainer tribe, what happens is our backend team actually shares content. So one person can share something relevant in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And there could be mix of all these visual, auditory, and PDFs documents. So there are different kinds of facilitators, learners around, and this is one way to cater to everyone's needs also. Finally, I was telling about application part. So encourage the participants to share their experiences in a form of a story. And it need not be just a research paper or something that they've done, they've applied in the field. Ask them to come back and share it in the form of a stories. It could be in the form of a picture, it could be in the form of a video, or anything that is really good to share. Set a response time for the responses from the participants. Do not delay responding more than a day. A very important aspect is that set a time. Like for example, if you have 50 learners in your batch, set a time that, see, I have 50 learners. So if you have any queries, you can put it in the WhatsApp group or in the email or anywhere that you get access to these learners. And set a time that within 24 hours, you will be able to respond to all of these questions. And this is very, very important, because then you will also not delay from your side and you are also responsible as a facilitator. Finally, encourage participants to create small bite-sized videos of themselves talking on certain themes fixed and facilitate the process of discussion based on that. Like I already said that, creating small bite-sized video and asking them to share with specific questions again. So here I spoke about synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. A third principle that I'm going to talk about is modular learning. Modular learning is nothing but breaking down the learning into small modules or small capsules. Like for example, if you remember during our studies in our schools, we had an annual system. We used to study for a year and then finally write in our annual exams. But after that, our educational system has changed, and they've divided this annual system into semester based. And they have, and when you do this when you break down this learning, it's very important to have a specific learning plan, learning objectives, and also have some measures and outcomes out of this learning. A very important part of when you do this, when you break down, is also second important part is have a structure. Like for example, if you've been a part of Shalini's session few months back in the trainer tribe itself. She had shared an online design principles for online facilitation world by Sasha Barab. Inspire, create, learn, and share. So that's a structure. So it's good to have a structure. So some of the times we have a structure of learn, reflect, apply, and share. So having this is very very critical. And one of the strategies for this online facilitation is also you can assess through assignments, quizzes, where participants can engage in this particular principle. So yeah, I'll just take 30 seconds break just to understand where the group is. Hope everyone is following. If you're following me, just say yes in the chat box because I've been talking too much right now. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so as of now, we've just covered online. Theme of this word puzzle is online safety. So you too can actually search this online. What you're going to do is suppose I ask you to find one word, so you will have to tell me the word is in which column. It could be fourth column, sixth row. If you can tell me the first alphabet where it lies, then I will help you to find that out. So you need to be little quick, little observant. Maybe if you're a sleepy or sleep, you need to freshen up and just watch the screen because you're going to give a good exercise to your eyes. So if you can see my screen, yeah. So first word is something that we're going to find is digital. If you can tell me where this is column, so this is column, this is row. So if you can tell me where is this digital word, that will help me, and tell me which column, which row. 12th column. Okay. 12th column. Sixth row. Okay. Good. Let's go on to second word, email. 12th column. Okay, email. Yes, it's diagonal, but where is it? 12th column, you're saying sixth row. First row, sixth column. Personal. First row. Okay. Someone is saying fourth row. Fourth row, which column? One, two, three, fourth row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm unable to find this. If you can help me, no. Next word is domain. Okay, I think I found it. Thank you. Identity theft. Okay. Copyright. Ninth row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, fifth row is okay. Fifth row is address. Someone is saying 3, 4, 5. Fifth row. Okay. So this is one way to do fun. I just wanted to give you an expo. So similarly, you can find many other words. Yeah. So I will just move on now. Yes. Okay. So thanks for engaging to this. I hope you will continue with this. Um, So the next part is how to bring the online classroom alive. It's all about class to community. So very important aspect is we need to co-create classroom, which means co-creating classroom doesn't mean that you need to create as a facilitator all alone. This teaching learning classroom needs to be created along with your learners. Like for example, it could be where we started building norms. So you can build norms for the virtual learning together. The second aspect is identity shift, replacing me with an us. A lot of times we think I am here, like it's me in the virtual because it's only like the laptop screen and you and the learners are around the different places. But we need to understand that it's not me, it's us as a community. The third aspect is mindset shift. I am here to teach. A lot of times we think I'm here to teach, I am come with the knowledge, but just remove this kind of thought in your head and say that we are here to learn as a community of learners or community of facilitators. And so it's very, very crucial. So some of the tips for delivering virtual session are here. This is something that I learned through a lot of webinars. I've been attending a lot of webinars and I've tried some of these things in my real virtual sessions with the educators directly and with some students directly. So I'm here to just share my experience of my learnings and my experience, the application part. First, very important is norm setting. A very important aspect is a warm welcome. If you just say that, okay students, good morning, let's get into this topics, I mean, I don't know, like even if in the physical classroom students feel bored, but even the virtual, then I don't think so. So warm welcome is very, very important, which means you need to smile, you need to your tonality needs to be really great, the way you welcome participants. And also need to set norms as part of this warm welcome, and you can spend 2 to 3 minutes here. And then second part of the norm setting is Mia Culpa norm. This is something that maybe some of you all have heard. A Mia Culpa norm is acknowledging oneself. It's a self responsibility, which means that if I'm late to this session, it's my responsibility to inform the facilitator. Hi, okay, so Lyman is my facilitator right now, for example. Hey, Lyman, I just joined the session due to some other commitment. If not, you can just put in the chat box saying that, oh hey, I am late, I just joined in, so it will be great if someone could brief me what happened. Maybe in the chat box someone can brief instead of wasting a lot of others time too. Or even if you are planning to leave the session, it's very important to also say that I'll be logging out of this call as I have another meeting to attend, and I will get back to someone in the group to get the updates. So it's about acknowledgement, self-responsibility. The third aspect is celebration norm. Because this is virtual space, it's very important for appreciation. How are you going to appreciate your students, your learners in the virtual classroom? One is you can give badges. You can have some 2, 3, 4, 5 variety of badges saying that this is for the best performer, this is for one who's asked questions or something like that. Another way of doing is, let's request everyone to unmute yourself and clap your hands or snap your fingers, or just waving your fingers like this, or just giving that high five, just giving high five to everyone in the virtual space. And you can ask everyone to switch on the cameras and just say that, hey, let's appreciate one of our participants. He's really done a really great job, so let's appreciate by giving air high five. So second part is the discussion formats. Yes, it is the virtual session, and it's very important to have discussions in the larger group also. So to create a conversation and engage, it's very good. Discussion is very, very important instead of just one person talking altogether. So here there are three kinds of where you can do engage the group. One is relay discussion. In if you've seen in this in your schools, if you'll have played this relay game, you just pass on to another person the baton, and then you just complete the race. So it could be 1,000 meters race. So here what you can do is maybe, like for example, here I think some of us are here. Suman is here, Sanjana, Lenin, Lyman are there. So for example, if I am doing a topic, if I see someone not engaging, maybe I can say, hey, we are going to talk about today about how are we going to engage our learners virtually. So Suman, let's start the topic from. So I will say I'll start the topic. So then it goes to Suman, Sanjana, Lyman, and Lenin. And what happens is I start sharing my ideas, and as I finish, hey, I just finished my thought. This is what I have to share, and now I request Suman to share her ideas. And Suman completes, and then she hands it over to Sanjana. Sanjana completes, and she hands it over to Lenin, and then to Lyman. And this is how a relay discussion can be done in a virtual classroom. The second part is cold call. Cold call is something that we need to inform the participants earlier only, because this will help all the learners to be aware throughout the session. It could be like a teacher doing, but another way too is to engage our participants virtually also, which means that you cold call. Maybe you call someone's name and say, hey, I just discussed. So for example, Suman, I just discussed this topic. What do you have to say about this? Or Lyman, are you listening to me? Or just calling out people's names. And this also means that when you call out people's name, they also feel good at certain point in times, because it's in the virtual world, you cannot see, so names, at least you identify people by their names. The third part of discussion format is warm call. Here which means so in this particular form call, the cameras of every participant is on, and the facilitator can see everyone's faces. So based on the expression of the participants, maybe the facilitator can ask questions. Maybe I saw some participant called Karthik in the chat box. So, hey Karthik, you look really confused. Are you confused about this topic? Do you have anything that's bothering you? Maybe this is the time for you to clarify. Hey Padma, or just calling out people's name, looking at the facial expression. Of course, now I cannot see because I am presenting the screen. But later point in time, I'll do some of these activities. The very important piece also is use the chat box often. This is very, very critical and really engaging, really important piece of virtual session, a chat box. Because this is where we can actually start having a conversation, not only between facilitator and the learners, but also between the learners. So encourage learners to type response in the chat box, and the participants will they'll keep engaging in this conversation, and this is one way to get then instant feedback too. And also this is something where participants can just put down. Otherwise, a lot of times in classroom, students hesitate to share their responses in front of everyone. Maybe in the chat box they feel really good because they cannot. I mean, it's a way of expressing in a different way. So chat box is really important. Use breakout rooms. This will actually enable all learners to voice out their learnings, opinions, ideas, because there are a lot of learners who some might be very quiet, some might talk a lot, some might be like, just share in the chat box and not speak. So what you can need to do is, in Zoom, there is an option for breakout rooms. But in other ways, you can actually, in Google Meet, you can try to create small groups, and these groups can be small learning groups which they can continue throughout their journey of learning in particular batch. And this, they could engage in the small WhatsApp groups, or they can create a small GChat group also, if it's possible for them to, if they have that accessibility to all of those things. But it's better to have small breakout sessions every now and then, in order to create relationship between the learners also. That's very, very important. Next is breaks and energizes, a very, very important piece, and I really love this, is to keep the group energy alive. It's very important to give break, which means break is like giving 5 to 10 minutes break for every 60 minutes of your session is very important. It's not only for the learners, it's also to the facilitators also, because now also I am like talking a lot, I really feel very dehydrated. So having quick water break or bio break is really important. So just give this 5 to 10 minutes break. So even when you give this 5 to 10 minutes break, as a facilitator, you can play a light music. So I suggest you to play some instrumental music, so people know that they are on break. And once the music stops, students and learners know that they need to come back. The break is over. So you can play a light music that will keep the group engaged and also know that it's a break time. And it's also a good way to, feel little better and calm and peace. Energizers, these are very, very important to have energizers. So for this, I request everyone to actually switch on your cameras. If you do not mind, if you can switch on your cameras, that will be great for me to do this activity. Yes, I can see some of you. I can see some familiar faces. Really good to see. I request everyone to switch on your cameras. Do not hesitate. Do not shy away. For Sungit, we just met in the morning. Yes. Yeah. Thanks. A quick activity for all of us is just like, a lot of times we are just in this virtual bubble, right? All the time. And this is our classroom. This is the space that we engage with our students, with educators, with facilitators. And we're like just tired of sitting here. So I request you all to, just get out of this place right now, and not just get out and just vanish, come back also. So a quick activity for all of you all is grab an object. Okay, I'll just tell you the instructions, and then I'll give you 30 seconds. You need to go out of your, I shouldn't see anybody in front of the laptop or your screen. So you just need to go grab an object that represents a part of who you are. Okay, you have a lot of items in your house, right? So you need to grab an object that represents a part of who you are, and get that object. Do not show the object in front of the screen. Just get that object, and your time starts now. You have only 30 seconds, so please get out of your space and just grab that object and come back. Yeah, you need not show it. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Okay, so at the count of 3, 2, 1, you all need to show that object to the camera, okay? Which means you will show it to all of us, okay? I hope everyone is ready. 3, 2, 1. Wow, really nice to see. Yes, and yeah, this is one way. So maybe because we are having time constraint here. So so what you can do with this is that you can actually break this larger group into breakout rooms and ask participants like, why have you chosen this particular object and what resembles yourself. So you can continue this activity and ask them to get into breakout rooms, share their responses, and then come back to the larger group. And then you can ask a next question is like, what struck to you in this particular process of sharing sharing about yourself and your object. So this is one way to do one energizer. So another quick activity is go get a coin. any coin that you find in your wallet or your purse or pocket or anywhere. Just get a coin. Yeah. And you need not show what coin it is, just okay. Yeah. So everyone has a coin, right? A 1 rupee or 2 rupee or 5 rupee or 10 rupee, whatever coin. Yeah. And in this coin, there is year written, right? There is which year is written. So in my coin, it's written 2010. So hope everyone has a coin which has a year. Hopefully, it's the year that you're born after, that you're born, like not 1980s or 1950s. Yeah. So if you have that here, maybe in your chat box, just put that which year it is and share one incident, an interesting incident that has happened to you in your life in that particular year. So share an incident that has happened, an interesting incident that has happened to you in that particular year. So you can put your responses in the chat box. Yeah, along with the years, share what is that, something that happened. So I have got 2010 a year. Something interesting that happened to me was I actually got placed in a Don Bosco organization for a small project to get an exposure. And that was a great experience for me, and that's why I am here today in front of all of you all sharing my experience. So maybe everyone can share. Yeah, some have said that I've completed their graduation. Anto has said he was promoted with additional responsibility in his office. Wow. Sayali has said went to USA for the first time. 2000, okay, someone said I got married. Wow, it's an interesting incident. Yes. Uh, 2016, I started rescuing children from trafficking and started teaching them for free. Really great, Karthik. Yeah, so this is one way to do some. Okay, 2012 had a cycle trip to Temeni Ghat. Very nice. So this is one way to actually understand, know your learners also, like what happened in their lifetime. We do a lot of self-reflection activities, knowing oneself activities. So this is one way to actually understand your learners and what their journeys are. It's also not just an energizer or for fun. It's also about knowing whom are you engaging with. Um, yeah, so another important activity is I'll just do one activity, is that grab an object that matches the color of the dress you have worn right now. Grab an object that matches your color of the dress that you've worn. I need to find out. Yeah, we can just show it in front of the screen. So I just got an album. Okay, I can see water bottle. I can see a mug. I can see something that I don't know. Yeah, card. Okay, cool. So this is one way to do an activity, and cameras are a better way to also see each other. So I'll just continue with my presentation now, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay, this is another activity. If anyone has found, they can unmute and tell me. Um, I hope Lyman, everyone can unmute right now just for like few minutes, then you can disable that. There's an instruction there. Can you find the hidden tiger? If anybody has found, you can just unmute and say, or you can put it in the chat box also if you cannot unmute. Okay, Brinda, so quick. Yes. Yes, you can read it on the skin. If you can see, you can read it here. The THE, the hidden tiger. Thank you. So the next part of the another tip is let them debrief, ask the participants to debrief the sessions, but that doesn't mean that you just tell them to debrief. Give them some interesting questions to debrief, and let them go into the breakout rooms again and discuss what they have learned as a group together, and come back to the larger group and uh, start sharing their reflections to the entire group. So it's not always the responsibility of a facilitator. Okay, I'm here as a facilitator here and I need to do all of these things. So it's not always the responsibility of a facilitator. So give this responsibility to your learners. Now also they will feel accountable and they'll also feel responsible. And it's very good to keep the group engaged in all the process, not only through the activity but also giving some responsibility. Finally, close the session with the takeaways. Very, very important aspect is not that, just okay, tomorrow come with do this homework, read this handout and come tomorrow. No, just close the session with some takeaways. Maybe you can ask some questions from the session that has happened all throughout right now. Maybe one questions, and they can just give a response in form of one word or one sentence. It need not be one paragraph or one page, and that is very, very important. So here is so before I could move on to this particular closing the session with takeaways, a simple three steps part of closing the session is um build your teaching team, which means a very important aspect I was talking to you about is let them debrief here. So which means build your teaching team. So your participants, your learners can be teaching team, because some of your learners are really good in handling technical issues. So identify who are those learners who can help you in resolving technical issues, who can help you when reading the chat box when you are facilitating the session. The second part is get creative, get moving, have this movement exercise, get creative. Ask students to get things from their house and do some small projects. Maybe ask them to share their stories in the form of a chart paper, or they can make, there's a scratch platform also, so they can do some stories, they can create their stories using the scratch platform. Finally, be yourself. And this is something that I really love about myself also. So a lot of times we think that we are here to do performance, we need to be very perfect. When we teach, we need to have enough knowledge, we should have all the answers to the questions asked by the participants or by the learners. No, just be yourself, prepare well and plan well, and just go and present your learnings and share your learnings and experiences to whoever you're going to. And just be yourself and you will rock, definitely. And that's how you will also build connection and relationship with your learners whom you engage with. And I really do believe in this, and I do practice this a lot. So these are some three simple steps. So close the session with takeaway. So here's a question for all of y'all. One new concept that you learned from today's session, from this session. So please reflect and share a response in the chat box right away. And then I will just do a quick activity on for all of y'all before I could close the session. Maybe I'll just need some 10 more minutes. So one new concept that you learned from today's session, from this session, you can just reflect and put it in the chat box. We'll give you 1 minute for this. Yes, synchronous was asynchronous learning. Building trainers within. Okay, energizer activity. Building peer relations. Implementing the cold and warm call in the session. Yes, Anto. How to be engaged with learner and not only talk. Yeah, that's very important. Word puzzle game. Okay, interesting activities. New energize extents to which imagination can go for engaging people. Example coin. Yes. How to make learners comfortable with on cameras. Yeah. Okay. So here's another activity that I have come up with. Hope everyone can see my screen. And for this, I will not go to views present screen because I'll have to go back and forth. So word circle puzzles are actually played in the physical classroom where if we have a group of like here the word is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 7 here. Yeah, it should be 7. I've written 8, I'm sorry. Yeah, so there are 7 words here, so you need to make a circle, word circle. Okay, and this is how you need to build connection. So it's a word association game. So I will give a one word to start off with, and then you can actually I'll give a one word to start off with, and then you can continue it. So for example, the first word here is car. Okay, so in the chat box, what I would like you all to say is, what word could come after car out of these words? So car pace or car keep, car buckle or car up, whatever. Okay, Priyanka Krishna is saying, okay, car pace, some seat, car belt. Okay, let's see what word comes in. So it's car seat. Whoever said car seat, a round of applause. Then car seat. So after car seat, what could come next word? Seat what? Seat belt. Okay, let's see whether it's seat belt. Yes, car seat, seat belt. And okay, car seat, seat belt, and belt what? Belt buckle. Okay, let's see what it is. Yes, belt buckle. Car seat, seat belt, belt buckle. Then buckle what? Okay, buckle up. Sorry, yes. Buckle up. Upkeep. Some are saying upkeep, some are saying up pace. Okay, upkeep and keep pace. Yeah, we've done. So let's give this air high five to all who have participated. Yes, so let's move. So this was one demo with 7 words. So you can do it with some more words. So here are 14 words. So let's break this also. So the first word here is bottle. So what word can come after bottle? Bottle water, bottle cap. Yes, some more. So everyone's saying bottle cap. Okay, let's see. Bottle or. Okay, maybe this is a little tough one to start off with. Okay, bottle cap. Yes, whoever said bottle cap. After bottle cap, cap what? Bottle cap. Cap off, cap head. Okay, let's see. Cap off. Yes, Mega, you're really right. Cap off. Off head. Okay, people are saying off head. Okay, let's see. Off site. Yes, yes, Aman, you're right. Off site. After site. Off site. Okay, people are saying head. Off site visit. Okay, let's see whether it's right. Yes, site visit. Visit what? Visit where? Okay, let's see, Padma, whether we are right. Visit or. I think nobody said that. Yeah, visit or. After or where, or else. Else, after else, yes, I think Lenin said else, correct. Elsewhere. Okay, let's see. Yes, elsewhere, and where what? After where iron. Okay, where for? Who said this? Aman. Let's see. Yes, where for, Aman, you're right. For forehead. Forecast. Yes, Aman. Looks like you know this activity. Okay, forecast. Cast what? Cast head. Cast iron. Okay. Cast iron. Iron what? Iron head. Iron horse. Okay, let's see. Iron horse. Horse. After horse. Horse head. Yes. And head. Water bottle. So this is you've cracked this, all of you all together. Really great. So bottle cap, cap off side, site visit, visit or else, elsewhere, wherefore, forecast, cast iron, iron horse, horse head, head water, water bottle. So really great to engage with you all. And one way to do this activities, again, you can break out the groups and share these activities to them and ask them to actually do this in the smaller group and then come back to a larger group. And this is something that I learned from a recent webinar that I attended by Chris Cavett from US. So there's a lot of resources which I will share you the links. And please join Trainer Tribe to know more about what we are doing internally and externally with other trainers and educators around. There are a lot of sessions that we've already done, so please log into Trainer Tribe and just be part of these things, because we have multiple sessions. And if you know, Vishwas has done fundamentals of facilitation. So we have multiple sessions that we have done. So just be part of this group. Click on the link Lyman has already shared in the chat box. Click on the link, join the group, and I hope my session was really good. Um, um, yeah. So some questions, if you have some questions, yes, these resources you can find in this particular link. There's fundoing.com. You can go to fundoing.com and subscribe there. You can go to trainingwheelsactivity.com for more activities online. And this is where I do a lot of search, and I've been part of a lot of workshops earlier also. So yeah, this is all about my session. So thank you, and over to Lyman.
So, Carol, thank you. That was a very engaging session. I actually lost track of time. I think you really brought in that experiential self of yours to the session today. So we were able to actually be part of a virtual session in live form. So thank you very much for that. And a lot of comments coming up saying that thank you very much, Carol. It was very engaging and effective. Lots of things I learned from the session. I think that is my key takeaway is when you actually have a session to actually make the participants feel that they're part of that session. So I think you have succeeded in that. And I know it's quite difficult to compress everything into 1 hour. And like how you promised, you took 10 minutes extra, but there is 3 minutes more. So I've launched the feedback poll, which is in progress. So we have about 31% who have actually answered it. So in the meantime, if there are any questions to Carol, we can take 1 or 2 questions as we wait for the others to fill in the feedback poll. Any questions if you have? You can just put it up on the chat box and I can just take it for Carol.
Yeah, but I would also like to add is that, whatever we have learning, it's always been kept in the books or in the in our web we have put down. So it will be great to actually apply. So maybe one thing is for all of you all is to just go and apply these whatever we have done in today's session, and share your responses and experiences in the Trainer Tribe platform once this video once this video is shared. Maybe you can post your responses there, so that will also be a feedback to us, and we can also start engaging more with different kinds of activities that you really want to know. So yeah.
We have one question from Brinda. How do you share the learnings with participants who lost out in between due to connection issues?
So I actually already told this one. I think I answered to this. One is I answered to this when we spoke about Mia Kalpa Nom, I think. So maybe one of us, one of the participant in the group can actually help help the particular learner to understand where they have what we have done in this 5 minutes of app, or like whenever the person has lost. So just put in the chat box, and that's why the chat box is the real critical piece in the virtual learning. And definitely the smaller group is always there to support each other, so creating that small learning groups are really essential. Cold calling and warm calling, I think you can just listen to this. If I don't know whether I have time, I've already crossed the time. Is there any way we can minimize the screen time yet make it purposeful for the learning? I didn't get this question. Lenin, if you can help me understand this question posted by Karthik. Is there any way we can minimize the screen time?
So as far as I understand from the question is, Karthik is asking whether, because now online learning, online engagement is resulting in a lot of usage, screen usage, which is affecting young learners.
Yes.
So is there any way you can minimize the screen time? Like for example, what you did, I mean, move away from the screen, run and get something. So
yeah,
maybe you could talk on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe so. One way is synchronous and asynchronous learning comes from that piece also. Another way is just giving them like 5 to 10 minutes break out of the screen and ask them to do something. So maybe like small group discussions, or do some activity outside your like just go get out of your camera and do something, prepare and get back and show it to the larger group. So that's one way to, and I've done this with the educators, but not with specifically with the students. But yeah, I think we can try this out and see how often we can do this, and what are some of the challenges and learnings also from this kind of learning.
Pandian, I think Carol just answered almost a similar question which Karthik has asked, but we will definitely engage this question also on Trainer Tribe, and Carol can manage that discussion.
Yeah, I'll respond to this in the chat, in the comment box in the Trainer Tribe.
Yeah, be perfect. So any last comments, Carol, before we actually let you off? I know you had a long day, but thank you for accommodating this request. But if there is something that you want to add towards the end, we can close the call.
Yeah, so nothing much, just good luck and be safe, and try doing a lot of creative things and virtually, and practice and just be patient enough, because this is virtual, and definitely there'll be connectivity issues. Even morning when I was doing training in Northeast, there were a lot of connectivity issues, but just having that patience as a facilitator is very, very important. Yeah, I think that's all about it. And if there's anything, I'm happy to take it offline through Trainer Tribe. Yeah, thank you, Lennon, and thank you everyone for listening to me and being very engaging.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Carol. I know there are questions coming up here, but rest assured these questions we will definitely engage on the Trainer Tribe platform, which Carol is also part of. So we will be ending this meeting in the next 30 seconds. And we have 86 people who have 86% of people who have actually taken the poll. I would request the others who have not kindly access the poll, which will help us improve our masterclasses in the coming weeks. We'll be closing this meeting in the next 30 seconds.